Alright, so today's power was rotation. Um, I did end up recording this voiceover a couple days after the fact of drawing it, so um, the actual drawing process is a little more fuzzy than most of these videos. But, you live and you learn. Overall, I think that rotation would be a kind of thing that would lend itself towards almost using your hand as like a drill, right? Like you would use like your middle finger almost as like the bit, like the focal point, and then you would use the connective tissue and bone, right, as almost like the stabilizing thing, and then have the rest of it rotate around to create this drill looking um, effect that obviously was drawn here. Um, the Again, this was a fun one to draw. It was interesting. It was really easy to think of compared to some of them. Um, it's again, it is because some of these I have a very big problem with thinking of the idea. This was a lot easier. This was a lot harder on the execution side, which is obvious. That's more preferred. I'd much rather my art be tested rather than um, my creativity, um, because it's just a little easier to fix one compared to the other. Uh, you can see that I did have some struggle with drawing the actual rotation, like the rotating elements, and like how to color it and all that kind of stuff. That was a bit of a struggle. And then getting the correct proportions on the hair and the hoodie and all that stuff definitely came to be a factor while I was drawing this. But again, sorry for the past 2 days lacking in uploads. I have been moving. I am now in my like college dorm apartment kind of thing. So that has been the reason why I don't get anything. I meant to have this video like ready to ship, but the issue is I had to reset up my computer, which took a while. And I probably could have gotten that last night, but I'll be honest, I just didn't really feel like it. So that's that rationale. You can see here I was struggling with the face, not necessarily the anatomy as much as just like the actual expression and how to communicate that. Um, because I think that even though it wouldn't cause like the actual hero like pain to do that, I do think it would still cause a level of like discomfort. Just kind of like looking at your hand doing that, I think wouldn't be the most pleasant experience. Regardless, um, yeah. Again, I had to redraw the hair here a couple of times. I tried to go with a more boxy shape, but it ended up yeah, I don't know, I just didn't end up feeling super correct. So trying to because the main thing is how do I make the hair feel like it's rotating around? Um, and that was a very big challenge, along with all of the like all of the other aspects of this drawing. The hair definitely, I think, in my initial sketching phase, kind of went to the wayside, and I think that it did kind of bite me in the ass when it came to this phase. Even though again, I think that for the most part, something like that does look good. I think I just had a hard time when I tried to convert it to line art for whatever reason. The line art phase of this was a little difficult and challenging, just because a lot of this is a little bit more left up to interpretation than I would like, and so I kind of wish I had made it more, I guess, more structured in the initial sketching phase. So I think that would have very much helped. Um, yeah. So again, I was also confused on how exactly to communicate that his hand is what's rotating, um, and like how much rotation how much should I make it look? Because I went after like a fan kind of approach. So that was another thing that I think came to affect it. But again, this was a fun thing to draw. It wasn't super difficult, unlike some of them that were more conceptual and weirder. Um, Generally, I should be back onto more of a set schedule with these videos. From now on, I should have much more of a consistent schedule. I should know when I'm doing things a little bit better, so it should be much easier for me to get these out in time and know when I'm recording them. So yeah, just stuff like that. That should be generally a lot easier. Uh, yeah, so that's most of the actual talking about like my life and even to some extent the drawing, just because rotation is one of the powers that's out of the list that I feel kind of explains itself. because there is like obviously other applications, like if you used your legs as the rotating, like if you use your legs as the actual point of the drill and you use your body, you could become like a human Beyblade, right? Like that's the idea. Um, again, like, but trying to make that effect be understood is a lot harder than I would have liked it to be. But again, I think this is obviously good experience in learning how to draw this like rotating and how it affects stuff, because I think, oh, sorry. The I think a lot of the effects that I draw don't I don't think I try to understand how they affect the clothes and the skin as I should. So I think this was a good like learning lesson as to how to do that. So it's very interesting. Yeah, so I will probably also be changing my upload time. It'll probably be shifted over to earlier in the day rather than later at night. Just because I'm probably just not gonna have as much time at night as I would normally have, as compared with like my last schedule and stuff. So I think that's shifting over to more of a 2, 3, 4 p.m. kind of time slot rather than the normal like 8 to 9 p.m. I think that's going to end up being a lot easier on my end. So if you notice different uploads at different times, that will be the reason as to why. Getting into the coloring here, though, just you can see that I tried to incorporate a lot of the fleshy colors along with parts of the yellow, trying to communicate that it was rotating. Um, but again, I do think I ended up adding some red there at the end, just because I think it needed. I don't know. There's just a certain level of violence that I think is kind of, yeah. You can see the red here. It's like it is much more grotesque and violent than I think I gave it credit for. So adding a little bit of that red there, I think definitely helps. Also, it helps to differentiate the color palette a little bit better, right? I did end up going back and kind of clearing up the face in terms of the cross hatching, just because again it always kind of looks off on the faces, um, even if it doesn't, even if it like it's technically colored correctly, it just kind of always comes off in a weird manner, um, which I think that's more just like a art style kind of thing. But yeah, no, so the hair again is consistently causing me a little bit of trouble here. Just because of how much was going on in it, I think it ended up being hard. I do like this no eyes effect. It makes it look much more serious and focused. Um, so again, I think that was, I think that was a good effect to add there. Because again, I think the initial sketch of the hair looked good, but I think just whenever I started coloring it and doing the cross hatching and all that, I think I kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit, and I think that's what led to it kind of looking weird at the end here. Also, having it on all of these different layers definitely was an odd feeling. It's very hard to uh to fully to fully know which layer was which, and so I had to kind of go back and course correct. Yeah. Uh, so this should just be wrapping up on the hair and the coloring and all of that. I tried to not give him too like Goku-y feeling hair, and just like the point all pointed up kind of vibe that I don't know. I think it's just like too easy, but you know, uh, at some point you can't really avoid it because the hair is flowing upwards. So yeah. But yeah, no, this was obviously a fun one to draw. If you have any other things that you think there's anything else I should try or anything else that I should consider, or anything like that, just leave in the comments below. I am also thinking of maybe starting up like streaming the actual art process, and then um, having these videos more act as a like kind of a recap of the stream rather than having them be two separate things, um, or rather than like just kind of only giving you this kind of recap thing. Just because I think it'd be a much more fun way to go about doing it. But again, just let me know what the opinions are of that, and any future stuff like that. So again, yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry that a lot of this was yap about my life, but whatever. Thank you. Bye.